Welcome back to the Experience Podcast with me, yours truly, Amir Lambden. And today, my guest, a very special guest, a very dear person to me, someone I look up to in many, many ways. Without further ado, guys, I'm going to introduce to you Mr. Tony Quagliata. So my sensei, Tony. So Tony, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, pleasure to be here with you, brother.
So, the experience is all about exactly what the name of the show is. And tell a little bit about yourself and why you're on the experience today.
Basically, I grew up in the city in Queens and moved out to Long Island about 1985. And I was taking up martial arts. I was actually started as a correction officer on Rikers Island. And I started my first formal jiu-jitsu. It's actually, stand-up cardio jiu-jitsu training because of the instructor in the corrections academy. And then from then on, I became a Newsday driver, and I was there for over 20 years. And I met a gentleman who was my sensei, the Shotokan, and I trained in Shotokan for many years. And somehow, I guess I still missed the grappling. And one of the guys that I trained with in Shotokan had recently come back from Japan, and he wanted to further his training there in Japan because his job brought him out there for like 5 years. And he wasn't really welcomed by the Shotokan community. And so he left, and he wound up taking up judo. So when he got his black belt in judo, they did a lot of the ground fighting. And there was and Kosen Judo, which is basically is jiu-jitsu. And when he introduced me to this, I fell in love with it. And it wasn't enough. I was training with him like one day a week, whether Saturday or Sunday. And I wind up training in Long Island, and long story short, met Matt Serra in 2001, was training with him ever since.
That's where you love all those judo throws, man.
I love all the judo throws. I love all kinds of grappling. I really love all combat sports. I love kickboxing. I like it all. I like to train, and even now, as in my older age, I still like going to kicks, punches, and tying up, throwing, and it keeps me young.
It's definitely one of the things that I admire most about you is your spirit in the martial arts is definitely of a young warrior. But with the knowledge of the experienced warrior.
Right, and I try to pass that on. That's important to me. And, some of the guys that we have in the academy at Sarah's, now they're professional fighters. I feel like I passed on some of my knowledge, and at the same time, they kept me young, up till recently, till I just, I up and moved to Georgia to open up my own academy here. And to the last days, I was, in a cage with one of the fighters, and he's getting ready for his first pro fight, and like I said, it kept me young, keeps me young. I just turned 56, and I still feel great.
That's awesome. So, which falls right into my first question. If you could tell someone starting to train martial arts, whether it be jiu-jitsu or striking, what would be 3 things you would tell them to maybe focus on, and how those things maybe helped you along the way?
Well, the most important thing that I learned myself, and I learned the hard way, was consistency. Even the days far back when I did karate, or even at Sarah's, it took me many, many years. I was a blue belt at Sarah's for 8 years, mostly because I would train hard for 6 months every day, and then I'd disappear for a year. I come back, I gain 20 pounds. I got to try to lose the weight that I gained. I got to try to get the sensitivity back. I got to try to get the moves against a fully resistant opponent again. So I always took 2 steps forward, 1 step back. So to me, you have to be consistent. And your diet and all these things, they play a part if you really want to get good in the art. Another thing is the second most thing to learn any martial art is your ego. Especially if you're a black belt in karate or any kind of other martial art, and you go into a Brazilian jiu-jitsu school especially, and you got white belts tapping you out, most guys get humiliated. They can't take that. So your ego is going to stop you from learning. That's another big thing. And I mean, the good thing about that is, you got a guy that maybe wrestled his whole life. He's going to go into a white belt class, and those people never did nothing. And yeah, he's going to dominate them because he's used to grappling. But then, I would put him against a 130-pound brown belt, and the guy would completely destroy the guy. And now either he wants to learn the art, he gets humbled, or he never comes back. So either way, to me, that's a win, because we don't want knuckleheads. That guy was obviously there for his own ego, but as soon as that was taken away from him, he didn't want to learn anymore. You understand?
Yes, sir.
So that's not, I don't want to invest my time and try to teach a guy an art when the guy's an idiot. He'll always be an idiot. Some guys get humbled right away and they want to learn, and I'm more than happy to help those guys.
Yeah, that's for sure. Jiu-jitsu will definitely humble you quick. All right, so those are pretty important things for sure. Over the years, what would you say you think has made you stay focused on, because some of the listeners don't know, but you did suffer a pretty horrific accident, and it would have been easy to quit and never get back on the mat. So, what do you say maybe helped you focus on staying with it?
Well, first and foremost, me, my Lord Jesus Christ is, every day I am blessed to be on that mat. And it took me, let's say, to have that accident. I was out for 14 months. I didn't know in the beginning if I was going to be paralyzed. I didn't know if I would ever be able to do jiu-jitsu again. And, for 6 months, I was in my house. I had a hospital bed. For 2 months, I couldn't even get out of the bed. And you start thinking about all the time you wasted, about, God forbid, I can't train again. It's my life. Martial arts is my life. And after 14 months, when I was finally able to start doing things again, I called at the time a black belt friend of mine to train with me because I trusted him. And we started training, and little by little, I started training again. I was getting my strength back. Everything came back into play. And from then on, I was consistent. For the first time in my life, from 2010, a year, 14 months after the accident, till now, I'm on the mat every day, and I praise God for that.
When do you think that mindset shift happened for you? Being that obviously you were in a very immobile state, and to even think that to be on the mat again, was it like the initial, hey, this happened, I'd like to get back on the mat, or it's like, hey, just to be walking again, I'm never gonna, like, did the thought of never doing jiu-jitsu come into mind, and then maybe change that, where you were like, what, not only can I do this, but I'm going to do it for the rest of my life and not let this be a factor?
Yeah, I don't know what it was. I mean, again, I still give God all the praise, but, when I was, even say, I can't know the exact time, it was, months later when I was able to actually stand up on 2 feet, with crutches, and I had to learn how to walk again. And then, I have 3 sons who I'm really, really close with, and I would go to the park with them, and I would walk like Frankenstein, like trying to play basketball, and then little by little, I was able to move a little bit, shoot if I missed, I couldn't chase the rebound and stuff, and I told my boys, have your fun now, because Dad's coming back. And it was months later when I was back, and, I started moving, I started doing everything, and, I was back into jiu-jitsu. And, it never occurred to me to, at that time, once I was able to stand on my own 2 feet again, there was no denying that I would be back. I just didn't think that I would be at the level that I am at now. At my age, I never thought I could even come back to be where I am now. And, me, I roll with guys half my age, and, And,
Yeah, it's a tough fight,
I
no
can do what I
question.
want.
Yeah, no question. You're humble, no question. Look, guys, he'll make you pay quick in many, many ways, in many different joint manipulations. So, yeah. So, yeah, being that, that mindset of, not giving up, how do you think that maybe impacted some of the students that you have and maybe obviously your boys.
Yes,
Uh,
that's again a lot of ways as far as teaching and stuff. When people would look at me, they would say, "Wow, look at this guy. He's 20 years older than me." They know that I worked a regular job. I drove a tractor trailer. They know sometimes I was there, at 5:30 in the morning, and I was teaching the morning classes. I was sleeping like 2 hours a day for like 4 days in a row. And many times they would say, Sensei, I only slept like 5 hours last night, but I knew, as tired as I was, that you slept less and you're still here. So in a way, I had a positive influence that way. Plus, when they got there, they knew that I'm not the type of a guy to mope.
yeah.
I love jiu-jitsu. I love to be on the mat.
No, you're
and
on
I
fire.
want everybody to feel that positive influence. When you walk through that door, I'm going to make you feel like you are so wanted, which I believe that. I really want you there. I know what jiu-jitsu did for my life, and I want to pass that on. So a lot of people go to jiu-jitsu purposely to relieve stress. You're having a hard time at work. You got a family. You're struggling, but jiu-jitsu is not like any other art. I mean, I love karate. I love all these arts, but it's not like jiu-jitsu. It's an obsession. It's something like I could train for 3 hours on the mat and I'm exhausted. And as soon as I come home and I get something to eat, I'm on YouTube watching World Championships. Like you never get enough.
Oh, absolutely.
Like you just called me up. I'm watching fight. I can watch the same grappling match 20 times, and every time I see something different. One time I'm one guy. What would I do as the other guy's doing? And I'm the other guy. And I say, we all know what an armbar is, right? But how did he get that armbar? How did he fake the guy? It's human chess. And you never stop learning, and you took Shotokan yourself. You're a black belt. And, we only learn the 26 kata.
Yeah.
There's nothing else to learn.
Yeah.
I mean, you might get a new understanding of an old move and all that, but in jiu-jitsu, you're constantly learning. After 20 years of doing jiu-jitsu, I'm still learning. Yesterday, I used to pick up something, and to me, it's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely. You learn not just so much about technique, but you learn so much about yourself because every situation is different. Every day you feel different. Every guy is different. So it really does teach you a lot about yourself. Because even in a
100%.
position where you're dominant, you learn maybe, hey, even though I can hurt this guy, it teaches you how to step back and I don't want to say humble yourself, but learn how to control yourself better, I want to say.
Yes, and as an instructor, you always want to make the other guy better. So how could I train with somebody that I'm way better than and still benefit? Well, very easily. As you're rolling, you put yourself in bad positions. You let the guy get on your back. You let his hands get in the collar. Now fight out of that. You're a monster. You're strong. I mean, I let you get that, and I'm going to get tapped. So what? The idea is I want to train. The only thing I don't really tap to is chokes. Even if you put me to sleep. The reason why, not because I don't want to get tapped. I've tapped a million times. Even my son's a white belt. Sonny, my youngest son, he loves to go after the heels. He gets the heel hooks for me. You know what I mean? I want to try to get out of stuff. And with chokes, it's not like a joint where, guys breaking your arm. If you don't tap fast enough, you're gonna get hurt. You're not gonna be able to train. But with a choke, the worst that could happen is I'm gonna go to sleep. I want to fight to get out of it. I want to learn how to get out of that. Many times I let guys put me in triangle chokes, so I try certain different techniques. Sometimes it ain't gonna work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But that's how you can train. Like me, I can still train with high level like you. High level purple belts, strong as anything, and sometimes I gotta really fight. I mean, hey, you guy, if I give you an advantage, you're gonna take full advantage of it.
Oof, you betcha. I don't. I learned from one of the other guys that, you take what you can get, because against the black belt, you're not going to get much. So,
Right,
yeah,
right.
you give me something like that, I'm going to take advantage to the fullest.
Exactly. And again, if I know or you know, let's switch the roles, not say a black belt, but now you're a high level strong purple belt. I mean, look, I see you deadlift 600 pounds and all this. You're a monster. So you go up against a white belt or a beginning blue belt, whatever. You're going to dominate him.
Yeah.
How are you actually working? If you just totally tap him out, 3, 4, 5 times in a 5-minute roll. Did you really get anything out of it?
No.
Maybe you sweat.
Yeah.
Maybe it can make your ego feel good. But no, if you put yourself in a bad position, I let most people, when I roll, even to right now, I let them start in side control.
Yeah,
all right? So now
that feeds my ego even better, actually.
And then the other guys, actually, trying for an armbar, trying for stuff, trying to mount and trying to do things where he wouldn't even pass my guard. You know what I mean? That's how you train them, and at the same time making them feel good that they want to roll with you. Because if you totally dominate or you're constantly putting so much pressure on them like you can, they're not going to want to roll with you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's understandable.
And
not everybody's a professional fighter. There's a lot of guys that are just there to learn an art and train a couple of days a week and just, be in good shape. And the thing I like about you and stuff is that you're a good chef as far as health wise. You make you're inspiration to me, because now since I'm down to Georgia and it's a whole completely change of life for me, I'm starting to eat better and I'm feeling better. Even though I'm getting older, the weight's going down. It's really, really a good thing.
That's great. I'm sure the stress levels in Georgia compared to the stress level in New York is a little bit different.
Yeah, yeah, very different.
That's great, though, man. That's great. Yeah, but you buzzed through a bunch of my questions, which were a little bit about technique and focusing on that, which is obviously something I wanted to hit because you have so much experience teaching and obviously being on the mat yourself. So what I would ask is, other than obviously being a father, because that's obviously everyone's greatest achievement that we've spoken to,
yes.
What are you think some of your greatest achievements that you've been able to carry on so far, and that will maybe play into who Tony Q is?
Really just all the guys that I had touch with, like you included, or anybody that I ever tried to help in jiu-jitsu, that's my reward. You know what I mean? That's my biggest thing. The 24th passed was my 56th birthday, and everybody responded. I got nearly 300 texts and people telling me, not just wishing me a happy birthday, but like what I did for them, or what I mean to them. That's my reward. That's my greatest achievement. And still today, so now I'm touching people in Georgia. Same thing. So now I'm helping them. I passed my, when I started with Sensei Matt, I was already 38 years old. There was no world championships or nothing for me. This is to try to help the young and upcoming guys, the up-and-coming fighters, and at the same time, guys that start in their 40s or 50s, to give them inspiration when they look at an old man like me and see that you can still do this and be happy. That's the main thing. Jiu-jitsu makes me happy. Unfortunately, like I said, I went through a recent bad times, getting a divorce and, moving to Georgia. I'm 1,000 miles away from my sons, and I was so close to them because I trained with them. Not just, just love being with my sons. We shared a lot of experience. Not too many guys can punch their son in the face.
No, that's great. Listen, that's amazing. No.
We have like a, relationship that most father-sons don't have.
Yeah, it's amazing.
So now to up and leave that, that's, again, you're going through trials, you're going through a lot of things, but I don't let that affect the way I teach. When I'm on the mat, I'm happy. Some people say, wow, what do you want to do? You want to go on vacation? Do you want to go on a beach somewhere? Yeah, that's nice or whatever, but my greatest joy is to be on the mat. And I'm doing it every day. Now that I'm here, I'm retired from a regular job. This is my dream come true, to be on the mat every single day and to sleep a whole night. Instead of sleeping 2 or 3 hours, I get to sleep 8. I feel like a human being.
Oh, my
so I'm
God.
blessed.
Yeah.
So even more now, I can pass that on to the students. Feel that happiness. They'll ask me questions after, and I'll go over. I'll stay on the mat another hour or two. When I was in service, at 6 o'clock in the morning class, the open mat started because one of the guys couldn't train at 7 to do the class because he had a teaching job. And I says, well, can you be here at 6 o'clock? And he said, yeah. And I started training with him. And that's how the 6 o'clock morning started. Other people needed to start earlier. And that was how it was formed.
That's awesome.
Because I love being on the mat. Even though I only slept 2 hours and now I might only sleep an hour, it didn't matter to me. You know what I mean? I just love the art. And I want to pass on what it did for me physically and also, more importantly, mentally.
Well, I definitely think you do an incredible job at that, sir. Because you are a true inspiration.
I appreciate that. And that's where I get my energy from. That's what I feed off everybody else because they appreciate it. Like some guys get and you were brought up in the Shotokan times.
Mm-hmm.
God forbid you were late for class. I mean, if I was a minute late,
man,
I would turn around and go home. I lived in Long Island. I had to drive all the way to Flushing, Queens. I trained under Japanese Master Miyazaki, who was a legend. But if I was going to walk in late, I knew it. I'd turn around and go home. And wait, I drove 30 miles. But
I have trouble sometimes letting that side of me go. When people show up late to class, I'm like, what the hell? But
and
no.
Sometimes not your fault. I can leave a half hour.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Let's say I know it's an hour drive. And I gave myself an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and a half, because I would rather be early than late.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, there's an accident on the expressway and it's closed off. Things happen.
And then the worst is you're getting crap for it, and when you feel horrible already. So I know what you mean.
You feel horrible, and so you don't come. Now, see, I never wanted other people to feel that.
Yeah.
So in Sarah's, I know guys never would want to disrespect me, but I never felt disrespected. I tell them, listen, I don't care if you're 10 minutes late. I don't care if you're 20 minutes. You get here safe, and I'm happy. Because you know what? You're spending close to, say, $200 a month to learn an art. Okay?
Yeah.
If you miss the warm-ups or you miss a technique, it's on you. It's not on me. You know what I mean? And I know you're trying to do everything to get there, especially in the morning. You get guys that got to be there at 7 o'clock to do a class. They have businesses. They have jobs. They're trying to get their kids off, whether it's school or to daycare or any of this. And they can't be there at the exact time. And I tell them, don't worry, but you get here safe. Don't run no light. Don't do anything that could happen because I care for your well-being first. And then when you're on the mat, hey, you know what? I train after the class. Come on, this is what we did. This is how we got here. This is how we did this. And everybody's happy. So, when they're going to make that effort to come, then they don't have to worry about being late because I don't want to add extra stress to them.
Yeah.
Jiu-jitsu is supposed to relieve the stress. This is your happy time, even though you're getting choked. It's your happy time.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's another way that I do it. And Sensei Matt did that for me. Again, like I said, I was a lot of times I was inconsistent. And let's just say I didn't come for 8 months or whatever. Whenever I walked through that door, Sensei Matt always made me feel like I never left. I'll give you a little story. The day after Matt Serra, beat George St. Pierre and won the championship, I was gone for about a year. So he wins Saturday night. On Monday, I go because I want to pay my respects and to congratulate him in person. I walk through that door and he sees me, gives me the hey, Big Tony, if I would have known all I had to do for you to come back and win a championship, I would have won it a long time ago. This is the kind of guy he is. And Sensei Matt's the most loyal and loving guy there is. That's why I would do anything for him. Which brings me to another point that I also bring out with a lot of people is loyalty. again, you're from the old Shotokan. And Brazilians, jiu-jitsu, it's not as formal. It's not as, like with all the bowing and stuff like that. I mean, I still do it because I respect, my seniors. But I would do anything for Sensei Matt. He's brought me to this level. He's taught me so much that the worst thing in the world for me is to disappoint him in any way. You know what I mean? Like, I opened up a school. I'm in Georgia. We had guys open up schools down the block from him. Guys that he, like his first black belts.
Yeah.
Right in the next town. I mean, it's totally, I can't conceive that.
I know.
It's when you're a martial artist, the more that you get deeper, I'm 30.
Yeah, digging the roots in.
Training. It's deep in your heart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I want to make him proud. I always want to make him happy and stuff like that. And it's been proven to me that years down the road, these same guys who taught me everything, my karate instructor, my Brazilian, they still look out for me. You know what I mean? They treat me like I'm an old man, or I'm their uncle, their brother. It's totally amazing. Like I said, what martial arts has done for me, I just want everybody to have that.
That's awesome. I agree, because obviously I've been a martial artist pretty much my whole life, and it definitely makes you who you are. So, perfect segue would be, hey, who are maybe the 3 people that helped influence you and shape you into the person that you are maybe today? And not.
Yeah, well, it would have to be, again, my karate instructor. Master Miyazaki was the leader and stuff, but a guy who actually became the godfather back then when my sonny was born, his Sensei Luis Rojas. He was my main guy to really taught me how to be a martial artist, a man who was very humble, who honored me as I was getting my black belt. We went partners, and we had a karate school in Queens where I grew up. To even ask me to be your partner was like something that I couldn't. It's an honor, plain and simple. And then of course Matt Serra. He took me to that next level, and even again, one of the things that when I went through that horrific accident, I got hit head on. I was driving my motorcycle. I got hit head on from a drunken driver. I was out for all that time, so, I didn't have much money coming in, nothing, I was going through whatever resources I had to survive. And when I got back to Sarah's, I still didn't have any money. I didn't know what I could do, whatever. So after about a month of training, I went up to Sensei. He never asked me for any money. And he says, how about this, Big Tony? He says, how about you teach 2 classes a week for me, and this place is yours? And do you know what an honor is for a UFC, one of the best grapplers in the world, to ask me to teach for him, that he trusts me? That's to me was like hitting the lottery. That's why I said I could never repay him enough. All right, that's the first thing. So now I'm back on the mat. I'm consistent. I'm teaching. So it doesn't matter now how I feel. I'm always going to be there and do my responsibilities. And then as the other people, my classes just started growing and growing and growing. Now I feel a responsibility to the students. They're not my students, but I feel a responsibility. I'm teaching you. I don't want to let you down. So that was that next level. But now with Sensei Matt, he's ready to have the grand opening in the new Huntington. And Vinny, who was my middle son at the time, had asked me, Dad, I want to start training again. And I brought him down to the grand opening. And, he loved it. We trained. We had the seminar there. Everything was great. And then Sensei comes up to me. He says, oh, how does Vinny like it? I said, oh, he loves it, Sensei. He loves the training and everything. And he says, well, is he going to join? I said, kind of, Sensei, the predicament I'm still in, trying to fight it. He says, what, money? I says, yeah. He says, Vinny's a student here. So it's like, it's one thing when you do for me, but when you do for my kids, I can never repay that. And like I said, the relationship that we have, it's more than just a sensei-student relationship, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. The brother.
A brother. He's my brother. No, he calls me up. He just texted me the other night how I'm doing, making sure I'm okay. You know, it's not your normal thing. Before I left New York, my karate sensei came from Florida and wanted to see me, and we went out, did a nice out on the town. And it's more than just to teach a student thing. You become best friends. I owe everything to these two men. You know, and there was more guys to influence me along the way, but those are the two guys that, like you said, who I owe everything to. Without them, I would be nothing. That's what I feel.
That's awesome. It's awesome to have people like that help shape you in such a great way, because they definitely shaped you into an incredible person. So, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying that's even now. I mean, this years later. It's 20, 25 years later. It's with the karate, you know, and the guy's still out for my well-being, you know, and not just him. I mean, other guys that I trained with over the years. I trained with some of the best martial artists in the world, and whenever they hear, you know, through Facebook or whatever, that I'm going through something, you know, I'll get a phone call, I get a text, you know, message or whatever, like, "Are you okay? You need anything?" Or, you know, that stuff that you can't. You can't pay for that.
No.
You know, you could be the richest guy in the world and be alone. I'd rather have nothing and have all you guys. You know what I mean? And I believe everybody that I have met in my life was for a reason. Like I met you, we hit it off right away, whether it be the karate things, the jiu-jitsu, the martial artists in us, whatever, that we have this bond. And now, look, now we're doing, I'm all the way 1,000 miles
I'll be down in Atlanta. I'll be down in Georgia, don't you worry. I'll be down there.
And I'm sure when the new school opens up, I know a lot of people are going to come see me, which I'm looking forward to. And, of course, Christmas time, and, you know, I'm going to be in New York and visiting family, and I'll be in Sarah's teaching a morning class while I'm there, you know, and see everybody. That's how I look forward to and stay excited. In the next couple of months, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. That's great. Awesome. So, being that you're opening the new school, Sensei, where now that that's something that you're working on and that you have lined up, where can people find you? How can people get a hold of you and find out more about the Academy?
Well, because I'm Facebook, you know me, I'm always on Facebook, especially for the Academy people. But I'm in Milledgeville, Georgia. We got the space. Just pretty much clean, big 6,500 square feet. The Academy's going to be beautiful, and it's going to take a couple of months to build it out and, you know, have all the mats and bags and everything. Well, you know, but right now I'm teaching. My partner Frank Mullins already has a school here, and I've been teaching every night at this other place. You know, which some of those students are going to be, you know, they'll be moving with us and to a bigger, better place, which is, like I says, you know, it's much easier for me because, like, again, I started a karate school from scratch. You know, when you open up, you know, you start getting 1, 2, 3, 4 students. At least he already has, let's say, 30, 40 students. So when a new place opens up, and I have a class of 20 guys plus, let's say, on the mat, and then you walk in and you want to join, you see what it's all about, and then you want to join. It's harder when there's only 1 or 2 guys. So, like, again, I feel blessed that I was put into this situation, you know, and I'm obedient to God. Why am I 1,000 miles away from my son? You know, why don't I open up a school in Long Island? You know, again, I wouldn't be anywhere near Sensei Matt. I was going to open up a school way out east, but from the time, you know, like when I had the accident and everything that happened, I chose to, you know, finally give my wife what she deserved and bought a big house, and because we struggled in an apartment just for 20 years, just raising my 3 sons. You know, they were everything. You know, and I don't regret nothing I did because they grew up to be 3 great young men, and that's not me saying that. That's everybody else. You know.
Absolutely, they had a great leader to follow.
I'm still trying to do that today, just as the older I get, so they can see what martial arts did for me, so they can be in martial arts, and they could just be humble and just be. It doesn't cost nothing to be nice. You know, I can go anywhere and, you know, hold a door for even a young person or whatever. If they say thank you, you know, that's great. If they don't, that's fine. I'm not going to hold a grudge. You know, you're going to learn that everybody was brought up different. Everybody does things different. But if they're around you enough and they see how you treat people, you know, just for instance, the other day I was at in a restaurant, and you know, I'm paying the bill and giving the waitress. I said, you know, the food was nice. I said, your service was great. I said, but the best thing was your smile. Something that makes somebody. It doesn't cost you nothing.
Yeah, but you made her day.
But they appreciate that, and the people that are around you see the way you treat other people. They start treating other people the same way. You understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
That's not.
It's infectious.
How do I say? That's not particularly a martial arts thing, but that's something. When you're a martial artist, you treat everybody with respect. You know, I worked where, you know, people are being a janitor or whatever. They get hard-working people coming from other countries and doing a job. I treated them like they were my boss, somebody who was higher than me. I would say, oh, good morning, how are you? You know, always going out of your way to make somebody else feel good. That's important.
I think that's one of the most rewarding
things. And now when
things.
I need it, when I'm in trouble, people give that to me 100 times back.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's one of the most rewarding, for me to be a coach, obviously, the most rewarding thing is when you're be able to do something for someone else.
Right, and they appreciate that.
Absolutely.
You know, you're going to help coach somebody, and they're going to be, you know, fit, and they're going to be strong. It gives them confidence. It makes their life better. It makes if it's a man, it makes their wife, it makes their life better. And vice versa. If it's a woman, she feels good about herself. She makes a man feel better. I mean, it's a blessing that we have to coach people. So you really have to take it like that it's a privilege to do that.
Absolutely.
So you can't take it lightly. You know, you have to work hard at it every day. I still have to work hard at it every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I have to be better myself to make them better. You know, I got students competing in a tournament Saturday. You know, I got to teach them. It's very hard in the short time I had. And I know one guy who's very good. I mean, the only way you're going to tap him is with leg locks. So I got to teach him how to get out of leg locks. You know what I mean? Now, the longer I'm with him, I says, not only are you going to be good at getting out of leg locks, you're going to be the one attacking the legs. You know what I mean? So I got to work extra hard with him with that. And, you know, somebody else, I got to work something different. And you know, as a coach, you learn that you have to motivate everybody differently.
Yeah.
Everybody's different. Some guys you have to push. Other people you got to lay off of them. And just you got to lead by example.
That's for sure. Always leading from the front, which is something I've definitely picked up from you, and something you definitely do. And it's a huge reason why I wanted to have you on here, because you know, people can really start. I hope that they're understanding, you know, it's what you surround yourself with, the people, the atmosphere, and then, like you said, being consistent with it and being passionate, which is something that you are very passionate about jiu-jitsu. If people couldn't tell, guys. So, yeah.
That is my passion. I mean, day and night, jiu-jitsu is my life, and I just want people to know, because you know yourself, if you're not in it, you won't understand it.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? I couldn't be happier for you that now you're getting to really live your dream and pursue something that you're going to get to enjoy for the rest of your life, and wake up with a big smile on your face doing.
Thank you. I appreciate that, buddy.
All right.
I really do.
Yeah, I'm going to find a way to get down there for sure for the grand opening. So as soon as you know when that's going to be, you let me know. But
I will.
Sensei, huge bow. Thank you so much. Guys, unbelievable episode. Sensei Tony, find him on Facebook, Tony Q. You could look me on my friend list, but see when they're going to open up their school. And if you're down south, go check it out. That's it for this
Thank you,
week.
Amir.
Guys,
Really
see you
appreciate it.
soon.